Welcome to Old Guys Still Rock. Super grateful you gave us a look or a listen. We specifically developed this podcast for friends or soon to be friends who are in the 40 plus category. This podcast is a platform to not only have your voices be heard, but also for others who are going through the same thing and know that they too aren't alone. Our topics may be business, topics may be entrepreneurship, our topics may be social, or our topics may be just everyday life. Whatever it is, we hope that you give it a share and leave us a comment. But most of all, if you want your voice to be heard, please leave us a comment on how to get a hold of you so you too can be an old guy that still rocks and help build our community. Until we speak again, stay safe, but most of all, God bless. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be when you're watching the greatest episode this side of the West Coast. Old Guys Still Rock. If this is your first time here, I am Blair Armstrong of Team Armstrong. You can kind of see it behind me right there. Team Armstrong, Coldwell Banker. We are a global luxury specialist realtor, state of residential, or actually in the world of residential real estate. On my right, possibly your left, is a good friend of mine for almost 30 years, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated. His specialty is many different things, and almost a master at all of them, but payroll companies, property management, detail shops, body shops. Just him and his wife just opened up a wellness center. So talking about building a foundation over the last 30 plus years and then slowly building that and having little branches off that. So it's really what I always like to look at too is when you have a tree, you have a stump, and out of that stump becomes sprouts, and how you nurture that stump and how you nurture those sprouts is how that stuff grows. And so one of the main reasons why I have been friends with Brent for 30 years is not only his wisdom, but his dedication and his pursuit of excellence every day. And that's really how this podcast started. So
thanks,
that was
brother.
a little,
I appreciate the plug.
You can pay me later, man.
I know. So
before, wait.
All right, go ahead.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Check out my new swag.
I know. I like
Check
that.
out my new swag. So Old Guys Still Rock. So when we talk about our swag real quick, and I know Brett probably want to stay this, so I'm going to steal his thunder a little bit. But this is just one of our things. We also have T-shirts. It's actually a white T-shirt with this logo. It's kind of flip flop a little bit. So you will start seeing these around. If you see somebody wearing an Old Guys Still Rock, say, "Hey, man, I'm a part of that crew." So we love you. Anyways, go ahead, man.
So one of the things that you don't mention and haven't mentioned out of 62 episodes, by the way, episode 62, is my coaching.
Yeah,
so I do this, what you and I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do this for other people.
Yeah.
And so if you're interested, I do have a couple of spots that have opened up for the rest of the year. And I'd be more than happy to reach out and schedule some time with you, do a discovery call, and see if it's a good fit. So if you're watching this and it is something that you're leaning towards, I did a discovery call with Andrea almost a year ago, and she wasn't ready at the time. Thank you for watching, Andrea. Appreciate you. Another call out. She was very excited about how we talked about her last week. She's a good follower. She sent me a personal message. So maybe you're ready, Andrea. Maybe you're not. Maybe it's time, but all with divine intervention. So that is something I wanted to throw out there is I would open up a couple spots for our listeners. So if somebody's interested, let me know, and I'd be happy to chat with you.
Yeah, man. And I think that's real important. A lot of people ask, what is your podcast about? I get that question a lot lately, especially, we've crossed that 50 episode mark. Now we've crossed that 60 mark, 62 today. And people are always asking, what do you guys talk about? And something hit me today is actually because I actually did a little clip that's going to help our podcast today. But I think the main reason with this, and we can kind of spitball with this a little bit. Again, first of all, if this is your first time here, all of our podcasts are organic. And so we do have topics in our head. Sometimes we get there. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But with that being said I really feel that this podcast has evolved. All the things we've talked over 61 episodes so far, and 62 being today, is that we engage people. We equip them with wisdom that we have, good or bad. Here's the wisdom, right? This is our wins, these are our losses.
Here's a tool.
Here's a tool, little cheat code. So that is our equip. Okay. And then we hope that with equip, not only, again, we've engaged, we've equipped, and now we want to empower you. And when we say empower you is to take that wisdom, take that knowledge. Maybe, as I say, sometimes it's going to be great for you. Sometimes it's not going to be good for you. And that's what we're here for. But empower you to take that message out and share it with somebody, or maybe spur an idea in your head. Like, oh my God, they said this and this is what it sounded like to me. And I'm going to go change it. So we are not the end all be all, but we are the platform that wants to go out and help you become a leader. Because Brent and I are full belief. That's why Brent has his coaching stuff is Brent's thing is to engage, equip, and empower you so you too can become a leader. And yes, I know that you hear that on a lot of podcasts, but we're not getting paid for this. We're not advertising on this, minus our hats, some swags. I got another t-shirt that we'll talk about a little bit later. But the point of it is without us coming together, no matter what side of the aisle you're sitting on, right, left, middle, whatever, it's without us doing this and then saying, hey, listen, we're done with the separation and the segregation of this stuff. We cannot be better. So that is a nutshell. We're going to get a lot more on this in the topic that we're talking about today. But we did that. But one of our guests that we've had on here, and I'm kind of throwing my chest on there, so you can't really see this. So I'm going to put a picture up here while I'm talking to you so you can see this a little bit more. But we had a guest on here, which also my brother, who
from the same mother.
From the same mother, not a brother from different mother. Like Brent's a brother from a different mother, and sometimes we have sisters from different misters too. But
yep.
So anyway, those of you who missed the episode, I encourage you to go back and watch it. It's an episode with Kelly on here, Kelly Armstrong. He is running for a state seat out in Maui, district number 14. So Chrissy and I decided that we are going to endorse him for everything he does. He's one of these guys that he saw what was going on with his community, did not like the direction, not only with the economy, but the schools and so many different things, and decided to put his credibility, his morals, his thought process on the line, knowing that he would be ridiculed for some of his beliefs. But he said, I can't sit back and sit there and go ahead and post me, just talk about it between friends. I need to go out and make an impact. So you're hearing it from us first live. We are endorsing Kelly Armstrong for the state seat of Maui, district number 14. And we're real proud. And then we'll put these t-shirts up there. So Kelly Armstrong, keep pursuing excellence, keep pursuing perfection, but settle on excellence, and keep doing what you're doing. And we're going to have you on here real soon, brother. We need to get an update of what's going on in Maui, and we kind of see some good things, what you're doing out there already. So there's my plug.
Not a shameless plug, by the way.
Not at all. No, sometimes you just got to do some different things. So yeah, I'm trying to put it up there. And by the way, this hand, you can't see here real quick. This is all of West Maui. So the W means West, and you got Maui here, and you got Kaanapali and some different things. Again, we'll stick a picture up there so you can see it a little bit better. But anyways, brother, how are you?
Good.
You got some good things going on. You are knee deep.
Day 11.
Day 11 and 75 hard. You are third time around. You've got me. I've done it twice. So how's it going?
You did the Live Hard program, so you kicked my tail on that one. But it's going really well. Have you seen, speaking of shameless plugs, have you seen my boy coming with me?
Digging it.
Wakes up 5 a.m. every morning, grabs his protein bagel, throws his jacket on, and rucks with me. And we're doing, it's not like, we're doing like a quarter mile or anything. We're doing 45 minutes at a clip and he's keeping up, and we're making a difference together. And it has been super rewarding. It's changed his trajectory, changed his attitude. It's changed his sleep cycle. His circadian rhythms change. Like he almost just pops right up at 5 a.m. every day. And
it's good. Well, it's not, I think that's great too, because you are, again, we're talking about engaging, equipping, and empowering, right?
Yep.
But what is it doing for you?
Well, it's doing for both of us a tremendous amount of time together, and it's making our connection very much deeper. Sorry, I'm a little distracted here. I'm going to write that down. What did you say? Engage, equip, and empower.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Engage, equip, and empower.
See, I really actually gave me a cheat code.
So here's a cheat code. So why I'm passing that wisdom on. So some of you know this. For about 4 years, maybe 5 years, I sat on the board of Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and that was one of their mottos one year, is to engage an athlete, equip them. It is a faith-based ministry through the world of sports, and then empower them. So to take that, again, using sports as your ministry to go out and help others. So anyway, you'll see a lot of athletes out there. If you actually look up Fellowship of Christian Athletes and look like the athletes behind it, it's quite amazing. So anyway,
cool. The other thing that's going on besides my boy 75 hard and all that is my wife's doing 75 hard with me. And by the way, she said we have to do 45-minute episodes, so that way she can listen to it while she's doing her exercise. So,
all right, we'll talk longer today.
April, we'll do our best. We won't quite go Joe Rogan, but we'll get at least 45 minutes for you. So
well, that's very cool. I tell you, I mean, I watch you every morning, and I think it's great. And guys, if you don't follow Brent Wright, follow him on Instagram, follow him on Facebook as well. But you can hear that morning clip with his son Lincoln the last couple of days, and it changes your perspective. Not only obviously he's talking about what it's doing just for his son and him, but if you really look into it, it's empowering other people while you're doing it. So pretty cool.
Yeah, we've had just on the Facebook and Instagram insights, we have 200 or 300 people that are looking at that reel every single day. So like, share, comment, something. Man, I see all you guys watching. I see you guys just work with me. Just give us some feedback, right? Just like no different than this podcast. We want the feedback. We love the feedback. I appreciate the look and appreciate the listen. And what I'll tell you is I'm able to deliver cheat codes and trajectory changing thought processes to my son while we're on this walk. So we do our I am affirmations every day. I've taught him the Lord's Prayer. He's starting to memorize it. Every morning we do a little prayer before or while we're doing our pre-walk, down before we start our timer. Man, just the little things. I am actively changing my bloodline. Things that I never heard, things that I never saw, things that I never got to. And I'm not putting my parents down. They did the best they could with what they had to work with. I mean, they had to work with me and I wasn't easy, right? So, but man, what a difference. Like I tell him that, I didn't learn these things at 7 like you're learning. And he's like, well, why? Why wouldn't your parents teach you this? Well, maybe they didn't know, buddy. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have the time. They were young parents. They were just trying to survive, et cetera, et cetera. And so you asked me, what's been beneficial. That's been the most beneficial thing, is to see the growth in him over the last 11 days. It's been huge.
Which is going to lead into, man, I think you just spurred an idea into it. So the topic that we really wanted to talk about today, which I came up with a couple of days ago, actually I didn't come up with it, God gave it to me. But anyway, with that being said, is dedication without devotion. It's kind of like faith without works is dead. And so what I'm saying is you're dedicated to doing 75 hard, right? Okay. But you're devoted to your son and making sure that he has every possible tool that you have been equipped with, and trying to empower him. So with that being said, is like, okay, you can be dedicated to be a father. You can be dedicated to be a husband. You could be dedicated to run a successful business, but are you devoted into it? And realistically, now I want to be very careful with that because of our faith, Brent. So, I mean, people can go and say, well, okay, here you go. You're supposed to be devoted to God. And then you're saying you're being devoted to somebody besides that. So that's a world we live in. People will try to tear that out, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is without your wife, without your son, without your business, those are gifts that are given to you by our belief, God. And so being devoted to those and showing him thanks and praise and in giving everything you have into those is basically saying, thank you, God, for this opportunity for me to become better through your eyes. And that's what I love, that you're doing it with your boy. And so when I brought up this topic, dedication without devotion, again, so for those of you who don't know, this is Therapy Thursdays. So when I say these things are triggered to me to help me get better. So there are thoughts that are coming to my mind that sit there. So when I'm talking to Brent, it's not that I've experienced these things. These are thoughts of like, okay, here's my triggers when I start doing things after this episode that I'm going to work on to become better.
Well, it goes back to the Ed Milet, the power of one more, right? And so that's the devotion you're talking about.
Right.
Is, are you giving, like, you could go through 75 hard and you could check the boxes and do all the things, but are you really trying to create a personal record every day, right? Are you trying to PR every day? So when we're on our walk, it's not that we have to get just to 22 minutes and turn around and go back. We're trying to go one more foot. Like my son's like, well, how many minutes do we have left, Dad? How many minutes and how far do we need to go? I'm like, well, we need to go like 2 feet past the apple tree today. He's like, let's try for 3. Let's try for 3 feet past. And so we're like, step up our pace and step up our game. And then we measure it. Did we get 3 feet past? He's like, I'm teaching him measurement. I'm teaching him time. I'm teaching him to have goals, small goals, realistic goals, successful goals, and then measure them. Did we meet it? Did we get there? It's that 110%. Like, are you going all in? Are you leaving it all on the table?
Right.
Right. I mean, Sean Whalen, I'm in the Lion's Den. His talk yesterday, he's one of my coaches. I commented, he's like, very few of you could keep up with my workout because I'm leaving it all on the table. Like, he goes, I either almost puke or puke at every workout because I'm pushing myself to fail at every chance. And I commented, I said, yeah, my wife says puke and then go lift some more. That's what she tells us, right? So if you're going to get sick, go get sick, but come back and lift, right? And so are you leaving it all at the door? Or are you putting it all out there?
Yeah, and I think that's important. Workout is a good. People ask me, why are you pushing yourself hard? It's got to see how much I have left in the tank.
Yeah.
Today I did that. We had a hard workout. It's not. Trust me when I'm saying this stuff, I'm not trying to steal your thunder at all of this because everyone's workout is a lot different. But we had a condition workout today, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm 55 years old. Why am I pushing myself hard? So we had to do, what do I want to call 12 snatches with a 40-pound weight. So 6 basically each arm, actually single arm snatches, but each weight, and then do a 12 calorie row, which at the pace I was doing it, it's about 250 meters. And you had to do as many sessions or many segments as you could to do in 30 minutes. And
good job.
We got to 8.5. We couldn't get the row in on number 8. And then I had a couple guys who were like, dude, what are you doing? Because listen, man, I'm not in a typical gym. I have a pretty good life of where I get to work out. And so it's just not typical to see somebody like that. And I said exactly to them, I'm like, I needed to see how much I had left in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do something like this? Is it necessary for me to do it? Probably not. But mentally for me, it is, because when I come up to something, I mean, again, being dedicated and devoted to the same thing, is when I come up to something, I can look back at that moment like, dude, if you can pull that off 30 minutes, what can you do 30 minutes with sitting at your desk, right?
Anything.
So
So,
that's a problem. But that's what I love about what you're doing with the things. Like, okay, he already has the mindset, he being Lincoln, already
mm-hmm.
has the mindset of like, okay, we did yesterday, we walked this far. Today we can go ahead and pick up the pace and again get another 3 feet past the tree this time. And as 75 days, if God bless him, and I'm sure if anybody's going to stick with you, it's going to be Lincoln. Pretty soon it's going to be, 250 feet past the tree.
Yeah.
In less time. And now you're going to try and like, okay, we just crushed this ruck and we have 3 more minutes. What are we going to do? Well, we've got to go. Okay, we've got to walk farther. So anyway.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing. So for those that don't know, I turned 52 in less than 2 months. And the picture that I'm going to post is going to blow your mind 100%. It's going to be just right at the tail end of 75 hard. And you're going to see a completely different version of myself than you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the same thing with my son. I mean, he can already do 16 front-handed pull-ups unassisted. And he's going to turn 8 at the end of this month. And you're going to see a whole different Lincoln. And then from here on out, I'm just setting the tone for what he's going to be when he's 16, what he's going to be when he's 18, when he's going to be at 21, where other people are going to be going to the bar and drinking and doing all those things. This kid's probably going to be able to do 100 front hand pull-ups. I mean, heck, he might even be able to do them one-handed at that point. Who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit. It depends on what he wants to do. But I'm going to give him and equip him with all the tools to make all the decisions that he wants to have the best life that he can. Game changer.
It's a game changer. And, sooner or later, we're going to have, this is going to become a family affair, but we're going to try to get Christian, my son, on here. You helped you've equipped him with a couple of things when he was young and dumb, and which we all were back in the day. He was kind of going through some life. He brings you up once in a while that things that you told him. We will have stories about when you came back and he was sitting on the washing machine, sleeping. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? So you just learned some stuff, and it's funny how it comes now. But today, when we're recording this episode, which is what day is it? The 8th today. So 8/8. August 8/8. Today, 5 years ago, we Bethany and Christian, Bethany is Christian's wife. God blessed him with 2 twins, but they came out way early. One was 1.7 and one was 2.2 pounds. And expectancy of that is not to be there. The premise of this issue is, because I know this happens to a lot of people, but the expectations of not being here in the world, but it was the tenacity of both parents, prayer, faith, all in on faith. But that is where you talk about, okay, I'm dedicated to God, but now I'm devoted to them. And their dedication to God at that time, this is not about preaching. You can take this whatever which way you want. But the point I'm trying to make is it's the dedication they had of their faith that turned into devotion. Like, this is all we have to help these guys survive. And now they survive. And it's changed that relationship. And that is, you're starting to see, just like you were seeing with Lincoln, right? Lincoln's 8 years old. Our twins just turned 5 years old today. And the way that Bethany, the way that Christian are devoted on helping them develop. Now we have a basketball team and a cheerleader. So 5 boys and 1 girl, and they're this way with every single kid. But since today is their birthday, I'm just kind of putting them out in the forefront. with the way that they pour into them on a daily basis is that someone that had a super low percentage of them surviving are now teaching themselves to read. I know Lincoln went through that a lot. And so these different things, but it is being devoted into that family stuff with all this other confusion that is going around the world, is being devoted into that part, and then helping, and that will give you the ripple effect is something you may see. And when you're talking about, you're going to see some changes when I go ahead and do my post. Yeah, that's cool for us visually, right? To try to understand, but no one's going to really understand the mentality of the devotion that you had to get through this on a third time with your wife, with your kids, with your businesses, with your relationships, with your friends, so on and so forth. And that is one of many things that I appreciate about Andy Frisella, is developing this program to open our minds to do something else.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a soapbox there, but that's what we talk about. Dedication with devotion on here is to change your mindset. Is like, yeah, okay, I'm dedicated to it. I'm dedicated to being the best realtor in the world, or at least in the Coachella Valley right now, which will turn into the United States, which will turn into try to do in the world. And you have to make changes to become devoted. Dedication means absolutely nothing if you're not devoted to it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, 100%. So on that, I forgot to mention, maybe I mentioned it last week. Brianna and DJ in the Midwest are doing 75 hard with us. We're dragging them along, or they're dragging us along. Depends on the day, but they're definitely in it to win it, and doing some things that are making a damn difference. So like DJ is having to go to work at 1 a.m. and he's a truck driver, and then he's a truck mechanic in the afternoons. And so like he's doing double duty job as well as doing 75 hard. And it's a struggle, but that's where you grow, is in the struggle.
Yeah. Going back to, and it is a struggle, right? And the friendships that you and I have acquaintances,
Mm-hmm.
and you and I have friendships that we could probably count on fingers and toes. Friendships, right?
Fingers,
right? Like all in type of stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a challenge to you and me.
Mm-hmm.
We're engaging. We're equipping our followers. We're empowering them.
Mm-hmm.
Are we devoted to them? We're dedicated, but are we devoted? And it's something I'm not expecting an answer for this, because it's such a big thing, but maybe you can give an answer, because your wisdom is so good on that.
I appreciate that. I do have an answer, and the answer would be yes, because I take the calls from our listeners, which are my friends too, which are acquaintances, lifelong acquaintances. Again, we talked about Andrea. I've known her for 15, 16 years, 17 years, whatever it's been. And it's, yeah, I would tell you there have been times, and just talking about the Andrea discussion, there have been times where Andrea's reached out to me and my wife, and we've talked to her while we were on 75 hard last time. And we talked to her about some sensitive subjects that were impacting her family, and we were able to help her out. And in doing that, it helped us, because it brought April and I closer, because we were helping somebody else. So if you really want to make a damn difference, put it out there to help others, and it'll help you. Right? So I would tell you that I am devoted. Any one of our listeners can reach out to me, and there's no reason that I would have to brush them off, or not help them, not assist them, and not make time to help them grow.
Yeah, I think that's, I think I also say that too, that I think you've been that for a long time, and you've been dedicated to help them now too. But I also feel that this podcast has changed us to be starting to become devoted to us. The Ken McCumbers, the Gigi Matakos, the Ednas, and the Caitlins, and the Joe Daniels, and trying to think, Ken Johnson on there. It's just some of those guys that do it. So, those are my guys. Those are your, and there are people, right? There are
Yeah.
people, the Kelly Armstrongs, we've already talked about, and then to it is, we are devoted to them since they took, it's not just because they became on this episode, but we are devoted to them because they took a step and they wanted to become better. They wanted to share their experiences. So we're devoted to them to help them get better. So I think that's one thing is, you reaching out to your friends. I'm reaching out to my friends and other people. We're trying to become better in that way. This is just another way that we're sharing our experiences with not only the people that subscribe to the channel, but maybe this is the first time, or maybe you're seeing a clip on Instagram today that really touched a nerve, that you start following us. It's like, listen, if you want to join with us on this journey to help other people get better, we are encouraging you to be a part of this. We're just providing the platform. Here's the foundation. Here's the stump. And we want 1,000, 1,000,000, 100 shoots to come off of this for everybody to come together and stop bickering. And I'm guilty of getting upset. I think we're all guilty of this. We're not saints by any means, but we're dedicated. It's like, stop fighting amongst something, start instigating some different things. I know that we have different opinions, but let's try to start finding different avenues and being devoted to that process, because right now the enemy's winning a lot. Enemy beats me. Enemy takes me every day. Enemy takes Brent every day. We know that, we understand that, but we also have to start to is like, okay, whoa, Satan, not today, Satan, whatever you want to say, like, and catch yourself and like, what am I really devoted to? Am I devoted to making a legacy, which Brent has talked about many times before? If you want to go back again, we have an episode on that. Well, is creating a legacy, not only for his family, for people. What is someone going to be saying about you when you are gone? And I know that you've heard that before, but are you devoted to your legacy? Are you devoted for the gifts that you've been given to share them with others? And it's a call out for us. It's a call out for me. It's a call out for Brent. Is how do we keep talking about these things and start making some changes on here? And that's what I really love about this platform.
Yeah, like the Vanderlindens. Thank you, Kyle and Melissa, for listening to us. You haven't been on here yet, but you did do the process of sharing and liking and trying to promote us. And we sent you a hat, t-shirt, all that good stuff. So I would tell you that we have a lot of people that are behind us and are dedicated to us, but I would challenge our listeners to be devoted as well. I spent the weekend with the Vanderlindens, and that was a huge connection. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I mean, we worked out together for 2 days, twice a day while he was on 75 hard. By the way, he fell off 75 hard the day that we left because he forgot to take a picture. And he was like in day 50, 40 something. Yeah, he was 2/3 of the way through, and now he's not gonna start over because Melissa's gonna have the baby here pretty quick, and he's gonna need to help her with that. And that's gonna take some time, but he's still doing the activity. He's still doing the workouts and living, eating clean and living the life and all that. But man alive, yeah. But
one little thing, right? And I think that's a really interesting thing about 75 hard. And it's not a bad thing to fail 75 hard, but it makes you frustrated.
How many times did you fail?
Once.
Yeah.
Once, just in the very beginning. But I'm kind of like you. That's one thing that I have in common with you. Once I'm in,
structure.
We're going. Once I'm in, it drives Chrissy crazy and some different things. But once I'm in, I'm all in. And regardless of circumstances in there, we talked about this too, is dedication with your spouse, being devoted to your spouse. We are an open book and we talk about this openly. Chrissy and I got married at a later time in life. I was, 48 years old at the time and different things. And it's very hard to basically join two people at such a later life. And there was there's been some struggles, brother. And I know I'm not the only one in there.
Mm-hmm.
So there was times that like, I think this is it. I think we're done. And you're like, nope, I devoted this marriage to God. Now, again, I understand there's different circumstances. So hold your comments on this stuff.
No, don't hold your comments. Bring them.
I'm just saying is like,
Yeah.
not everywhere, there's stuff like this. Listen, you got into it a couple times. You do some different things. You say things that you don't want to say. You have to fight through it. And we could have walked away from it. The point of it is the point I'm saying is Chrissy and I devoted our marriage to God. And so with that was that string that literally, if we didn't have that, it would have been it would have gone separate ways. It would have
unraveled the sweater, right?
Was it fun? No. Do I want to go through it again? I want to say absolutely not. I would say what I'm saying is absolutely not. We don't want to go through it, but we learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn different triggers. Are we still learning? Absolutely. So those of you who are getting married later on in life, which I'm starting to hear a lot more, it's starting to be a lot more common. Maybe it's a second marriage or a third marriage, and you're 6 years into it and you're 60 years old or 50 years old or whatever to it is. Be devoted to it. Figure out what didn't work the last time, whatever reason it, but don't minus certain situations. Don't let Hollywood be your marker for marriages. I'll say it that way.
I sent you that Gary Vaynerchuk about getting started at 55.
Yeah.
Google billionaires and when they became billionaires. If you Google that, you're going to find that most people don't become a billionaire until after 62. 62 to 64 is probably the average. Right? So everybody wants to be the cool kid. Everybody wants to drive the Lambo. Everybody wants to, all those things you see Instagram, success and people posting on TikTok and all the stuff and the Lambo in front of the plane, in front of the 3-piece suit and, la-di-da-di-da. Those people are not the normal. The normal is to work your tail off, make sacrifices, devote everything that you have to your success. I mean, follow Gary Vaynerchuk and check out what he did. He's like, when I was 21, I watched one the other day. I was 21, he says, I was selling champagne to my friends who were going out partying that night to, they're going to party and do all this stuff. And he goes, I'm selling it to them. And then that night while they're partying, I'm stocking shelves and I'm hustling on eBay and I'm going to garage sales. And like when they're hungover the next morning, I'm at a garage sale at 6 a.m. trying to find baseball cards. Right? That's the devotion that we're talking about.
And everyone, I think here's a big thing is I know everyone has it. I know that I have it. I know that I fail at it sometime. And it's the same thing with you. I mean, you have plenty of things that, I messed up this time. we failed. Today we failed. Tomorrow we win. If you can just gather up even one more win than a loss throughout the year, it's a winning percentage, right? And that's what you strive for. I think if everyone could have that mindset right now, and I know that the world doesn't want us to have that, is to be dependent on others. But trust me, we need you. And so again, this is your first time watching, or if you have watched this for every now 62 episodes, we need you to be better, because Brent and I can't do this by ourselves. We're not asking to do it by ourselves. We want to be a part of this. So the Gigi Matacos, I know that she's not only trying to help herself, but she's really reaching out, trying to find different avenues to help others get better. The Ken McCumbers, the Ken Johnsons, the Joe Daniels is going overseas, leaving his country, leaving his family, his son and a daughter, to go over to another part of the world to equip, to engage, equip, and empower other guys to the world of football to help them become better. The Caitlin's, Edlin's, Inlight Hair Buyers. By the way, have you seen their new logo?
Oh yeah. You and I both
sick, man.
Liked it and commented
so
on
good.
it. Yeah.
So good. But anyway, again, just giving us a different spot to it, empowering more people and engaging more people. That's all we're saying. So when we ask you to come on here, we're not going to tell you anything that you haven't heard before, but we're going to say it in a different way that's going to hit a different earlobe or look at a different way to help other people become a part of this movement, if you will. We're not going to cult, but it's just something we need to get back to. We did it for a long time. King David did it. He equipped a lot of people and empowered them, and they all had their different roles, and it was a great tribal society. Unfortunately, sometimes the evil forces want to get in the way with that, and that's what gets messed up. And I just kind of feel that's where we are right now. We talked about it for pretty much every episode. Is we let these evil things get in our way, and we've got to start really fighting against that and say, hey, this is not going to be it. We need to come across the aisle, shake hands, kiss some babies, and help each other out. We're a mess right now. It's not unfixable. We just have to believe in them and the leadership qualities, big or small, that we have in each one of us to help us get better.
So I'm always studying other people. Success leaves clues. You've heard that coin phrase. Copy what works. There's 100 of them, right? And so I go back to historical figures that have been successful, that have embraced and been against all odds. So I've been studying Henry Ford lately. Henry Ford said something like this. I don't know the exact quote, but he said something like, it's okay to be anything in this world other than ignorant. Right? That kind of hits home for me a little bit. Like, and not that education is the key to success, because again, he was a high school dropout. So, he left a legacy that's still going 4 generations later. Right? One of the largest companies in the world. They have the largest amount of cash besides Warren Buffett in the world right now. Almost 60 years, 70 years after his death. And the legacy that you see out there. And so educate yourself, empower, engage, equip, right? As you said, thank you for that cheat code. Just don't be ignorant. Just don't put the blinders on and just focus on your world and your situation. Of course, there's some level of that you need to do to you get to a point where you can help others. You got to put your own oxygen mask on the plane, like they say. Put yours on first so you can help others, right? Because you're no good to anybody if you're dead. But just don't be ignorant. Just don't spew stuff without doing the research.
That's why we use Proverbs last right? I mean, we can always go back to Proverbs. I mean, call it biblical, but it's just wisdom. Sharing wisdom with somebody and taking what you have inside of you and utilizing it, because everyone's different.
Yeah. The one thing that is that all religions and even atheists can agree on is that the Bible is the basis for life, the basis for a book of cheat codes, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if I have a friend of mine, good friend, blessed friend. I love him to death. He's a great dude. He'd give you the shirt off his back. Your car breaks down on the highway at 1 a.m. You can call him and he'd be there helping you, wrenching right alongside you, trying to get you going. He's a devout atheist. And I've talked about it on these episodes before. He lets me know often that he prays for me because he knows it makes a difference for me. And although he doesn't maybe believe in God or a higher power or whatever his belief system is, him and I have active conversations about doing the right thing and making a damn difference and being an upstanding citizen and being devoted to be a good father, a good husband, a good community member. And he understands that although he doesn't have this belief system over here, we still have the same value system over here.
That was really good, dude. I think that I hope that you guys go back and rewind that and listen between the lines on that, because I think that's a big thing people get tied up to. I hear what you're saying. Sometimes religion gets clouded, and it is, we were put on this earth to be great.
Yeah.
If you want to have a relationship with God, have a relationship with God. And at the end of the day, that's between you and him. It is at the end of the day. But if someone's praying for you, there's some light in there, right?
Ironically, again, I want to reiterate, somebody is praying for me that doesn't believe in God.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So really break that down.
Yep.
By the way, freaking gallon a day. That is the hardest thing of 75 hard this time for me and my wife both. The rest of it, easy. The water,
water's always hard.
Even though we drink a lot of water on average, but to focus on it, to make sure that you're doing it.
I agree. Yeah, when do you have to focus on drinking anything and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm at 90 ounces.
Yeah.
I had to drink 30 more ounces.
Halfway done my half gallon. And it's almost 10 o'clock.
This is crazy. Yeah. A lot of times in the bathroom.
Yeah. So we won, April. We're past 45 minutes.
I was going to say that. You got it. So now you can get off the treadmill or do whatever you want to do, April. We got it. So we expect massive shout outs. We expect you to share this episode, April. Not just share a clip. We want you to give this episode to 5 people that you know or don't know. And that will be your present for listening to us for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll give you a hat.
I actually gave her my sweatshirt. Well, she took it. So,
that's all right.
Yeah.
Anyways, brother, I think we covered a lot today, and I think this was really good. I think there's a lot of points in here that I hope that you guys stop and rewind and really kind of listen to this. I know that sometimes you just feel like we're talking and we're about sharing wisdom. As I said, dedication without devotion it's a stumbling block. Find something that you really want to pursue and become devoted to it. And then when you find that out to it, we want you to come on this. And we cannot reiterate this enough. We want you to come on here and share what you are pursuing. So not only can we be along with you on the journey, but we can get others to be a part of your journey. We're going to have a guy on here. I'm in talks with him right now named Gary Scott. So Gary Scott, if you're watching this, he's starting a podcast. I just feel it's up to us for people that have supported us to help him out. So we'll be on his podcast. He'll be on our podcast, and we'll get this out there. But again, it's sharing wisdom, right? And that's what we're here about. So final thoughts for you.
As always, just go make a damn difference.
All right. I got nothing. I emptied my tank today. So right here, but
good job.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for your continued follow. We had a great week last week of watches. Keep sharing that show. Let us know that you shared the show by either tagging us in it. Again, we are not a monetary podcast. We have no sponsors. We have no advertisers. But we're here to help you out. So share. Tag us in that share, not on Instagram, not on Facebook. Those are nice. We appreciate that. We want you to share the Spotify episode or the YouTube episode so we can get our word out there. And it's coming. You guys are doing a good job. We just need a little bit more push. But until we talk to each other again next week, stay safe. And most of all, God bless.